Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am coming to you in a way that you are watching this video. So today I want to talk about how to work with God with breaking, chains. Like, listen, I talked about, generational curses and stuff like that, but I want to talk about how to work with Him. So it was one thing when God is like, to talk about, God breaking chains or whatever the case may be, but it's another thing to talk about how you work with God, because a lot of the times you're going to have to do the work. It's like, don't get me wrong, sometimes He'll break them chains and you boom boom boom, but sometimes you're going to have to do the work. We're talking about on your behalf, you planting them seeds, you making sure you do what you need to do what is required, do your due diligence when it comes to overcoming, and a lot of the times it's you separating yourself. So I'm gonna give you a clear example. Like, a lot of the times, some of us, we don't know how to set clear boundaries. So when we don't set clear boundaries, we suffer a lot. Okay, and this is like grounds for constant attack, abuse, and everything else. You understand what I'm saying? So one of the things God will help you do is, if you are someone that lack boundaries, He's going to help you create boundaries. And you know how He's going to help you? You're going to be in circumstances where He has brought you out of, let me paint the picture for you, brought you out of where you no longer desire to be around or to accept. And you're going to be in certain circumstances where you're going to have to set them boundaries. So it's going to be uncomfortable. So you're going to be in an uncomfortable position where you have to set the boundary and you have to exercise it. So those are the type of things, what I mean, as in God is going to, like, you working with God to break curses, you working with God to break habits, you working with God to break, like, whatever, and even build, for example, boundaries. Because when you're coming from the world and you're, beginning your spiritual walk, everything that you did do or that you didn't do, but that is required in the spiritual world, in your healthy self and God who God has created you to be, you're going to have to put the work in. For example, boundaries. When you were of the world, you didn't have no boundaries. You allowed people to talk to you, do certain things, or you accepted, or whatever the case may be, including people pleasers. So we're talking about like nitty gritty stuff, like unlearning certain stuff. And this goes back to like past traumas and stuff like that. So yeah, you're gonna have to get down and dirty. So, and like I said, when you get down and dirty, God is going to put you in circumstances where you no longer desired, and you already know that, but now it's time for you to reinforce certain stuff. And this is how you become developed. Okay, this is a part of the character building. So this is what I want to talk to you in regards of how you work with God, in regards of breaking chains, because that's what's happening. Like, it's uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's very uncomfortable. It's not easy, especially because you're breaking things, especially you're developing things, especially because you are, like, trying to become confident in things, because when you're breaking things, it's one thing. And even then it's uncomfortable because that's something that you are used to doing, or something that you're used to. And then you rebuilding things. This is something that you're not used to. This is something that you're not good at. So you're like, what's up? This is uncomfortable, and honestly, I made a video in regards of, breaking chains. And sometimes when we get uncomfortable, we want to go back to old habits. That's a no. When you're working with God, that's a no. Like, it's a no. I'm not saying he's not going to let you. What I am saying is that this is something that I want you to keep in mind. It's a no. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though you feel uncomfortable, Stand in that uncomfortableness, stand in that vulnerability, stand in that uncertainty, because that's how you build courage. That's how you build fearlessness. That's how you build stoicism. That's how you build it's so strong characteristics. I'm gonna put it just like that. When you learn how to sit in uncertainty and you being uncomfortable, that's where the hard characters, the character traits that a lot of people lack is built. Because a lot of people lack of standing alone. The reason why they can't stand alone is because it's uncomfortable. So many people want to be, together. They don't feel like, how should I put this? They don't feel vulnerable. They don't feel like they're the oddball out, or they feel like they're too different. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know how to stand by themselves because they don't want to, it's uncomfortable. But somebody that learns how to be in a position to be in uncertainty and say, you know what, I'm going to stand in this, you inadvertently gain that character trait. Like, you know how to be self-sufficient. You know how to stand alone. So wherever you go, you're confident because this is something that's already been built. So yeah, let's talk about it. So I put here, how to work with God to break chains. When God reveals them, it's important to seek him first. That's first and foremost. When he reveals what you need to work on, the first thing you need to do is seek him. All right, God, I got the understanding, I got the revelation. Now I need you to guide me. I need you to help me on how to take my next step in regards of this situation, or regards of this habit, or regards of this sin, or regards of this, this generational curse. Like, I need you to help me to identify the next step. Because I put here, the purpose is you want to do it godly. You want to do it godly. You don't want to do it your way. Because hence, this is why he wants you to change it. No offense, but that's why he wants you to change it. It's not godly. Even though you may not see nothing wrong with it, it's not his way. And honestly, his way is probably much more better anyway. And this is not me saying it to you, but just in general, we know that God's way is much more, how should I put this? It's much more put together, less complicated. We're complicated. Us humans, we're complicated. We got too much that we process before we handle it correctly. And even then, we're not even sure if we handle it correctly. Like, I don't know if I handled that correctly, but I did my best. As opposed to God, it's coming from divine. It's coming from him and what he would like it, So you of course you would want it to be godly. So I'll put here, you want to seek him, example, how to parent godly and not worldly. And this is just example, but there's a complete difference. In the world, like, a lot of us, we're not patient. So a lot of the times when we handle certain situations, it's through our own processed emotions, it's through our own frustration, it's through our own, and especially if we're unhealed. Let's not talk about unhealed, okay? And this is why some adults that have been raised by parents that was unhealed have probably different traumas, just different things. So it's, you want to, this was just an example, but I hope it proves the point in regards of just us in general, like humans in general. Like, we are very complex, and it's not his way. I'm gonna put it just like that. It's not his way, and we wanted to do it his way. I know that was one of the things that I wanted to work on, and that God, wanted to help me with, and there was a complete difference. I'm gonna put it just like that. And I'm overall much more happy in who I am as a mother, as a child, so yeah, there's a difference when you get him involved, especially in something that he wasn't involved before. You will see a transformation. You will see a transformation because we're not all knowing. We try to do our best, you know, but if we have unprocessed things, anything that we touch or do, it's filtered through that unprocessed thing. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So I put here, you would seek counsel through anything you're trying to change in your parenting. So that's just to reinforce, like, you know, elaborate, you know, the example. So say if you parenting, all you did was you wasn't so patient, and you was always like I don't know, accusatory, or like, you know, you just didn't give that space for, you know, your little one to be them and for you to show up for them. You would always, in that situation, in that particular, you know, that particular part of your parenting, you would always seek counsel if you was to ever arrive there. Like, dang, I feel myself being accusatory. I feel myself not giving him space, well, them space. So you would always seek counsel. Like, you know what, God, I feel myself getting here. Can you help me? And I'm telling you, when I say you, it will, oh my God, it's really amazing. And I'm not just saying with just that, but just, this is just an example. This goes for anything. If you seek counsel before you engage in whatever he's trying to help you break, you will notice the difference. You will see that the perspective that you get from after counseling is something completely different than before you went into counseling with him, before you went into communion, should I say. You will have a different perspective on how to approach it. You'll be like, okay, I can do this. This is, yeah, you will get excited. You will have that joy. You will have that peace, because you'll be like, yo, like, I really just received, you know, divine intervention, should I say, like, you know, divine understanding and wisdom to how to approach this. And you will know, because you'll be like, bro, I didn't even think that way until after I had this communion with God. So I know it was coming from him, and you will see that it will have a different result. You would get a different result than what you would normally get. You'll be like, you would see that whatever you got, that advice, and when you implement, you'll be like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So yeah, you know, whatever it is, you always want to seek counsel first. Like, and that's something that you're going to have to even practice, you know, because once again, like I said, when you're breaking down habits and you're breaking down things, like, it's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're trying to, you know, adopt a different way. So you're going to have that time. And even then, if the Holy Spirit is in you, it's going to trigger you to say, okay, let me take a step back. Let me go into prayer, whatever the case may be. So it's not just leaning on yourself too, leaning on the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit will intervene and be like, okay, boom, pray. And then you're going to prayer, and you'll be like, all right, cool. How should I handle this? And even this gives you time to, you know, process what you need to process before you have that encounter, you know. So but I just want to say, always seek God, because you would definitely see a transformation, especially if he's called you to change that. All right, cool. I see that you bring me a revelation in regard to this. Every time I approach this, whatever it is, I'm gonna seek God and then engage. So I put here, this will be intentional and habitual. So you always want to be intentional. Like I said, like with you just stopping and praying and, coming into communion with God, that's you being intentional. Like, okay, I need assistance, and in regards of how to approach this, and the more you do that, the better you get at it. And then it becomes a habit, and then cool, that was something that God changed. And then on to the next thing. But you have to be intentional about it. You can't say God gave you a revelation in regards to what needs to be changed, and you're not seeking to do your part and make that change. Because he can give you a conviction, but what are you going to do about it now? Because you have to do your part. That's just like with anything. You can set out to make a goal, like you can set out for a goal, but what are you going to do? That's the easy part. We know I want to lose like 50 pounds, but am I going to start going to the gym? Am I going to start changing my diet? Am I going to start like, walking, waking up going to the gym 2 times out of the day, or whatever the case may be. It's one thing to make that goal, but it's another thing to make action steps. So that's a whole nother thing. Same thing. God can give me that revelation, but now that I have that revelation, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to make a conscious step, an intentional step to become habitual in the change? Or it will become a habit. Okay, cool. I know this is not my territory. So let me make sure I come into communion with God to how he wants me to handle the situation, how he wants me to handle it in a godly way, because that's the point of it. And then go from there. So yes. I put here, becoming intentional and mindful of one's actions. That's another thing. So when you're working with God, you need to be intentional and mindful. Be mindful. Identify when you are, in whatever he's trying to change. So if he's trying to change, I don't know, you always being angry, and it comes onto your mind that you're angry, like, dang, hold on, wait, I feel angry. That's him showing you. Then you need to be a little bit more mindful and intentional. All right, cool. What are my steps to alleviate this anger? How does God want me to manage this anger? And that's when you go into prayer, you go into communion. God, I'm feeling a little angry. I know this is something that you're trying to, help me break off of me. What do you want me to do? And how can I do this? And go from there. So yes, I put here, seeking to be holy and righteous with the habit. So the point of it is, like, you want to be holy, you want to be righteous. That's like, you would want it to be in your spirit. You'd be like, bro, like, this is something that I want to change. And you would want to be upright in regards of that change. So I put, aligning yourself with the habit that's associated with the outcome. So going back to the example of, how to parent godly. So aligning yourself with the outcome, like a habit with the outcome. So what I'm saying here is, like, okay, you wanted to become a better parent. And something that you wanted to do was read to your child every night. That was something that you would think that would help them improve, the relationship, whatever the case may be. That is something that you would initiate, because that's something that you want to obtain in the outcome of the relationship. So I hope that makes sense. Like, so you would, that would be you initiating a positive relationship with your child now, because that's something that you want to sustain at the end. So you want to align yourself with the habits. You want to start, implementing different things that you're looking to have, at the end, like your outcome of, changing who you are as a parent. You want to have more open communication. Okay, so you can start to exercise you being open, you being, more, communicating better. That is something that you're looking to have at the end. So that's something that you should be initiating with. You should be aligning yourself with everything that you're trying to get out of the change. So you shouldn't be, doing anything opposite. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm not saying that you're not gonna have rough days, like you're gonna be perfect as you're changing. But what I am saying is that you want to make sure that you're implementing what you want, so you can have that in the outcome. And that goes for anything. Anything that, God is helping you to work with, or you're looking to change, you want to make sure that you're doing what you're trying to get out of. So even if For example, if you're waiting on God, like you're trying to get yourself together, so because you want to be right for a husband or a wife, but you know that you need to get yourself together, that means that you need to be putting in what you're looking to get from what you're asking God for. So if you're looking for a man that is abstinent, then that means that you should be abstinent. If you're looking for a man or a woman that is, family orientated or open communication, whatever it is, you should be putting in and making sure that you're doing what you're looking for in the outcome. Period. So I'll put here, building what you think you would need to sustain that change. So what I'm saying here is that you need to build what you need. If you need somebody that's open and communicated, you need to be open and being able to communicate. I put here, practice what God has helped you implement. So as you get better, as with God helping you break whatever needs to be broken, and you doing what you want to change, you need to be implementing that. If now that you are gaining your ground and you've been seeking communion with Christ in regards of certain things that you have been trying to change, you need to be demonstrating that. You need to be implementing that. Like at any chance that you can get, you need to be doing that, because that's how you're going to sustain it. So, yes. I hope this video was edifying. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment.